Hi guys, Sci-Fi Recapped here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain a 2017 French science fiction and fantasy movie called Alone or Soul. The movie begins with a girl named Leila who takes part in car racing. Upon reaching the finish line, she takes off his helmet with a tear on her face. The scene jumps to a news report about the kidnapping of Saul Berthier, whose body has been found dead. Turns out that Leila's brother, Asim, is hospitalized due to an accident, and somehow Leila is feeling guilty about that. The next day, she wakes up and continues her boring life as a student. While jogging with her friends, suddenly two of her classmates engage in a fight and one of them makes fun of Leila's brother, which makes her mad and she ends up kicking the girl in the face. Later in the evening, she goes to the amusement park by herself. She seems to be a brave girl as she dares to ride a scream machine. The next day, she wakes up but cannot find anybody in the house. Her parents are missing. She can't contact anyone as there's no signal at all there. She takes her bicycle and goes out, only to find out that people in the neighborhood have completely disappeared. She continues exploring the city and runs to the hospital, but her brother has disappeared as well. A few moments later, she realizes she is not alone as she spots two kids, Camille and Terry, and they decide to stick together and go to the police station. Upon arrival, they find the third survivor who got locked in the police station, Dodi. However, he seems to be not a very friendly guy as he immediately leaves them with a stolen motorcycle after they save him from there. Leila suggests they go to the business district to get a broader view of the town. Terry steals a gun from the police station and the teens arrive at the center of the city, where they spot a SOS message on a building. They immediately get inside the building and go up by using the lift. Suddenly, the lift stops halfway and a mysterious voice tells them to disarm their gun and bags. After that, the lift continues to go up. Upon arriving upstairs, they meet the person behind the mysterious voice, a rich boy named Ivan. As expected, from the top of the building, they can't find any movement across the city. They believe that people have been evacuated while they were asleep due to an unexplained accident. Ivan then takes his new friends to his father's car collection and the gang continues seeking for help with Ivan's dad's Ford Mustang. In a tunnel, they find Dodi, who is shot in the chest. They steal an ambulance and suddenly they are attacked by arrows. Luckily, Leila is a decent driver and they manage to escape from there. They stop at a 5-star hotel and decide to spend a night there. Leila manages to pull out the arrow from Dodi's chest, saving him from death. The kids are enjoying their time at the hotel, but they don't realize that they have been secretly followed by a drone. The next day, Leila asks Dodi whether he saw the shooter or not, but he claims that he didn't see anything there. Dodi is upset because he thinks Ivan is racist and immediately goes away from there. Leila and the others decide to follow him to find a clue. They eventually arrive at the border of the city, finding a thick fog blocking their way. The fog surrounds the whole city, making it impossible for them to escape from there. A few moments later, the gang arrives at Camille's apartment and attempts to find other people while Ivan stays in the car. However, the wishy-washy Ivan later decides to follow the others, causing the car to move by itself. Camille is frustrated and starts breaking and throwing stuff, telling Leila that she wants to see her mother again. Leila then spots their car is in the parking garage and attempts to reach the car. However, she realizes that somebody with a mask has been hiding at the backseat and she runs away from there. The masked man chases after the kids and barely captures Leila, but luckily they manage to flee with a stolen school bus. Terry shows the recording of the masked man previously and decides to name him Steelman. Later in the night, Terry asks Dodi why he got captured by the police, but he is not willing to answer that. The next day, the gang returns to Ivan's house, which is a bank, and steals a bank armored car, hoping that they can get through the huge fog with it. They realize that the fog is moving and is getting closer to them. Suddenly, someone is speaking through the radio, warning them not to drive through the fog. The voice says that he will help them and they decide to give the 5 stars hotel coordinates since they cannot find any signal there. They return to the hotel and finally have the opportunity to get to know each other. Later that night, the drunk Ivan wakes Leila up and hands over the gun to her, saying that he saw someone in the hotel. Suddenly, the Steelman appears and chases after Leila. Even though she has a gun with her, she chooses to run away and locks herself in a janitor. Dodi comes to help, but the Steelman manages to flee from the hotel. The fog is getting closer to them, while a drone is secretly monitoring Camille. The next day, Dodi goes away while Ivan claims that he doesn't remember what happened yesterday. Leila follows Dodi and arrives at an old church. He doesn't believe that the man on the radio will come and help them. Suddenly, they spot a flare fired from the hotel and immediately rush back to there. Things get worse when they discover that Camille has been kidnapped. A drone then appears in front of them, forcing them to follow it if they want Camille to survive. The drone leads them to an abandoned building. However, it tells them that only Dodie can enter the building while the rest stay outside. Before he goes, Leila hands over her gun to him and hugs him. 5 minutes have passed, but Dodie hasn't come out. Thus, Leila decides to go in alone, only to find out that the man she loves has been killed. Suddenly the steelman appears, choking her and attempting to kill her with his knife. She is unable to fight back, but luckily Terry comes on time and hits him ruthlessly. They capture him and bury Dodie. After that, they bring the steelman to the old church and Leila starts questioning him. However, the steelman is mute so they can't gather any information from him. Terry recognizes the logo from his shirt, telling that the steelman belongs to his mother's association which helps young people with disability. Because of that, Leila spares his life. She then finds Dodie's hidden note and discovers that he was captured because he accidentally shot a man who kept hurting his mom. They make contact with the man in the audio again and give him their current coordinate. Turns out that he is the one who kidnapped Camille. Suddenly the fog breaks through the church, forcing the kids to run away from there. A few moments later, they realize that the kidnapper is hiding in a circus and they decide to sneak in there. They eventually find Camille who is being locked inside a box by Saul, a white-haired man that was seen on the news at the beginning of the movie. Turns out that it's Saul who ordered the steelman to murder Dodie. Because he fails to execute the other kids, Saul shoots him with his arrow and kills him instantly. The kids show themselves up and threaten to shoot him if he doesn't comply. However, Saul reveals an unsettling truth to them. He tells them that a fire broke out in the amusement park where Leila visited earlier several days ago. Terry shoots him to shut him up from talking nonsense. Saul then gives Leila a flyer which makes her frustrated and hopeless. She finally remembers what happened before. She saw Camille, Yvonne, Dodie, and Terry in the amusement park. She eventually realizes that they are already dead because all of them were killed in the fire accident. Yvonne sees the flyer and finally understands the truth too. Realizing that they are dead and cannot die twice, Leila immediately rushes to Dodie's grave and saves him from there. The girl then tells the truth to Dodie, who seems confused about what happened previously. She adds that everything happening right now is just her imagination and none of them are real. The next day, the other kids are shocked when they see Dodie is alive. In her dream, Asim suggests Leila to cross the fog and she suddenly wakes up. The gang finally decide to go through the fog, hoping to find paradise. After a long and rough journey, they reach the other side of the fog where they find a huge and magnificent building and they walk towards it. Upon arrival, they meet a lot of people, who presumably have died in the real world. At the end of the movie, it is seen that Saul is standing on the top of a building, indicating that he is the leader of the community there. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.